like by the Special Olympics.
Like
they had
that
a whole
idea.
cross promotion thing with it. It was it's one of my favorite fun facts about a movie because of it.
But we're
Yeah.
not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about horror movies on this episode of The Fan and the Critic. Welcome to another episode, everyone. I'm going to start off by saying happy birthday to me. You guys didn't know this, but it's my birthday today. I'm happy to spend this talking about terrible horror movies with you guys. We did this a few months ago of talking about horror movies. I don't like horror movies, and you guys decided to subject me to more, so thank you for that. I guess quick introduction for the audience here. So we're back again with Ben and Carlos, who we spoke with a couple months ago around the Conjuring franchise. Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we decided to come back. That was obviously like two horror movies that are same franchise, same style, and we decided that we'd go away. Each of us would come back and recommend a horror movie for whatever reason. We don't know yet what our reason for recommending these movies are, and now we're going to talk about these four very different horror movies. Yeah, I didn't have any other intro than that, but welcome back, Ben and Carlos.
Thank you for having
Wonderful.
us back.
Yes. Fantastic to be back.
And happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I ran out of the ideas of how to intro episodes, so that's what I went with.
What's
all
the big
right.
number?
It's getting a bigger number every year. It's a depressing number.
You son of a biscuit. You know that Carlos and I are significantly older than you.
All right. So the structure that we're going to go through this that we decided right before recording here.
Timeless.
So yeah, each of us have picked a horror movie. One of the other people who did not pick the movie is going to try to attempt to explain that movie. And then the person who picked it is going to tell us why they picked it. I'm going to start off with, let's say, Ben. Let's start off with your pick. So why don't you do a quick intro of what the movie is and why you picked it? And then I think Paulo's going to explain to our audience what The Howling is.
I'm going to try.
Fantastic. Well, The Howling is, I think we were planning on doing this the inverse, so I'm thrown. The Howling, I picked this because it is a classic monster movie, one of the best and earliest depictions of like werewolf transformations, and it's creepy, and I thought parts of it are really kind of spooky, and I wanted to subject you to that. And Paul is now going to explain a little bit more about what it is and the story.
Okay, I was kind of happy that because I did not find this really spooky at all, and I'm a bit of a chicken. I mean, it's probably aged like it was made in 1981, I think, or some
Accurate.
In the 80s,
yes,
early
81?
80s, yeah. But yeah, I used this as a bit of a palate cleanser from Possessor, which we will talk about later. But yeah, The Howling. So I'll start by saying I had never seen this movie before. I had seen the cover of it in Blockbuster a very long time ago. I remember seeing it like every time I'd go to Blockbuster or Rogers Video, it's there, and it's like the picture of like a brown something with a claw and like a screaming person.
Skin, Paulo. You know that skin, baby.
I don't. Okay, I actually didn't. Sure, skin. But wait, why is there like a screaming person coming out of this? Maybe I'm just misremembering
That's
what it
art,
actually looks
dog.
like.
Come on.
Okay.
No, I was looking at it earlier because it's I ended up buying the Blu-ray, so I know what it looks like for sure.
Okay. Well, I remember as a kid, like I remember walking past it in the Blockbuster video or the Rogers video and being like, "Ooh, it's spooky. I don't want to look at it." 20 years later, 30 years later, watching it, it's like, okay, it's not that bad. But anyways, I've talked too much about nothing about the movie. But it has an interesting start. it kind of feels like you've missed 15 minutes of a movie, because it starts with this news lady already in the midst of some undercover operation, and you're already asking yourself, what does this have to do with werewolves? But it turns out, and this is like the most out of left field thing, she's being stalked by some sex pest. So he gets her to meet in some peep show video store, and he's just talking creepy about how much he's into her in more gross terms. It's basically a very traumatizing experience for her. The cops come in and save her. She never sees him. They shoot the guy, and she loses her memory because she's so traumatized. And also, I feel bad because all of her colleagues, all the police people, are just using this poor lady. Like, number one for the undercover operation, and then afterwards, like, the guy's killed, and they're like, "Oh, we finally caught this serial killer. Let's put you back on the air. Let's, like, you just witnessed a murder or like some guy die. You're gonna get all the ratings now, toots. Like, let's get you out there." And it's like, oh, poor lady. But still, no werewolves. And she goes to see us.
There's undertones of werewolves.
Yeah,
show a
you're
little
pretty
bit in the
confident.
booth.
Yeah, in the booth, you got a sense. And also, not to derail you, Paulo, but not just a sex pest, a serial killer that had been stalking the city, and they were trying to break a story.
Yes.
And she was the reporter that guy was infatuated with. So that was their in to try to help figure that shit out and get the story.
Yeah. This is a good time to note that every time I watch a movie, I have to wait until my daughter's asleep. And I watch the movie on the very absolute lowest volume so she doesn't wake up. So
I see. Yes, that might affect
missed,
some of the nuance.
I missed some important details. I do know they mentioned something about like man's nature, like beasts, like everyone has a beast inside of them kind of thing before it gets to the whole werewolf stuff. So, okay, there's suggestions of werewolves, I guess. But the lady goes to see her psychiatrist. He sends her to a retreat, or it's called the colony.
It is called the colony.
Okay. And I mean, up until this point, and even while she's at the colony, everyone's just oogling this poor lady, like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I saw you on TV, blah blah blah." And it's like, she just had to deal with this, but even more dangerous, with a stalker and a serial killer. Leave her alone. But she's like going through this whole retreat, and she's getting treatment with a psychiatrist who's clearly sketchy. And there's like weird characters there. There's one super horny lady who's into news lady's husband, because she goes there with her husband. I forgot to mention that. And they're also having like intimacy issues, I guess, because she just went through that ordeal. And then when like he wants to get busy, she doesn't want to, and when she does, he doesn't want to. So it's a whole thing. And
she has massive PTSD, and he's a dickhead.
Yes. He also hits her later in the movie, and it's terrible.
Yeah, it really, really sad. It
was the beast, guys. It was
the beast coming out of him.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
So there's a bit of like a blurry period in the middle, but she's kind of like experiencing the colony. Her husband gets attacked by a werewolf one night after she doesn't want to get down with him. And then he like, oh, and then there's like one of the weird people at the colony is always like looking at her, like watching her in the bushes, and he looks like a human version of a werewolf. Like, he's clearly like he's wearing a fur vest, and he's just made to be like, yeah, this guy's a werewolf for sure. And 100%. Then and then her husband goes out and has some really cool animated werewolf sex with the horny lady.
There was like 3 seconds of animated werewolf sex, and we all saw it. And it's hilarious. And why they thought that was necessary in the move, I don't know. But yes, but it wasn't a long time, like 3 seconds, and then they were gone. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and there's like meanwhile the news ladies co-workers at the news station, they're also investigating the serial killer that died. Like his body has disappeared from the morgue, and they're like their investigation leads them on a path of like werewolf, like occult monster stuff. And then it also leads them to the colony. I can't remember why. I think the news lady tells them to come help her at the colony. She like things are really weird, and they're like she calls them and she's like, help me. I don't know. Okay, B-Ball's nodding his head. I think I'm on the right track.
Yeah. They, she wants her best friend there to help her with how weird it's being. And then it just so happens that she's also kind of following a lead, so it works out great. Yeah. There's also, and then everybody decorates with bones, like big red flags. Bones everywhere.
Oh, yes. So the friends of the news lady, like one of them, for some reason, the guy sends the other lady to investigate by herself. Investigate the colony by herself.
Now, Paulo, I'm just gonna jump in here and say I think we're maybe being a little granular on the description of the Howling here. Now, I love it. I just think, for brevity's sake, okay, you just describe what the guy has for breakfast, and then we can continue forward.
Sorry for being that bad.
Through to lunch, and then dinner, and then what?
I'm getting caught up. I told you I had a lot of notes. Keep me moving.
Yeah.
That's
good. All right. Yeah.
Jesus. I was the reason I wanted to say that is because there's a really funny scene where she's like searching the psychiatrist's office, and like she finds a file, and then she like picks it up, and then a giant werewolf just like gently takes it out of her hands.
Yes. Amazing.
That was one thing I was gonna say was missing from your description so far is just how adorable the whole movie is and all the werewolves are.
Yeah, well, they're like really big and clumsy, but they look great. Essentially, I'll just speed past the rest, but essentially it's revealed like everyone at the colony is a werewolf, and they kill them all with silver bullets, or so they think. And then at the end, the news lady has been bitten, and to reveal or expose the fact that werewolves exist, she goes back on the news and transforms into a werewolf. And she's basically like, look, I'll prove that there's werewolves. And she starts transforming. And then she gets her friend who escaped the colony with her to just shoot her on live television. But it doesn't work because everyone watching is like, oh, that's a movie. It's CGI. And
except one guy at the bar who's like, nope, we saw that lady turn into a werewolf, and then that fella shot him to death.
Yeah. And then horny lady from the colony shows up also
bar,
watching the newscast, and then to show that the werewolf survived and there's going to be a sequel. And the bartender is like, hey, what would you like to eat? Steak? Yeah. And she's like, how would you like? And he's like, how would you like it? And she looks right into the camera and she goes, rare.
Yep.
Sorry.
Fantastic.
And yeah, sorry, that was my
that was your seductive voice, right, Paul?
Well, that's supposed to be creepy, but
I don't know. You did a weird head movement with it too.
I don't know. Yeah, for some reason I heard the song "Hungry Eyes" start in my head when you said it. Hungry eyes. I don't know, Paul. I think Carlos is onto something here.
Sorry, I know it's excessively detailed, but that is my experience of The Howling.
I don't know about excessive, but no, I thought, first of all, I love 80s movies. in general, and I think this was dripping in 80s movies. I thought it jumps around so much. It was weird. It was daytime. It was nighttime. All of a sudden, we're back. You know what I mean? She was just talking to her husband, and then now she's in front of the news, or the camera is to do the news. I thought it was weird that they sent a reporter to go undercover to go catch the serial killer.
Yeah.
I thought that was super weird.
She was the only one that you would talk to, Carlos. And it's the 80s. Actually, I guess
Yeah,
it would be the
80s
70s when they
logic,
filmed
right?
it. Like,
Yeah,
we
fair
don't care
enough.
about women. The brave thing is to put it all on the
Clearly.
line, ladies.
Yeah. I like how she's walked through the alleyway and some random business guy is just like, "How much, baby?" It's like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
For
Oh, yeah,
a
it's
half
just
and
filled
half
with
or some
moments like
shit.
that.
Yeah. There is an I had forgotten just the whole undercurrent of like sexual assault and like objectifying women in this really weird way. Also, I watched this movie first because I was least afraid of it, and yeah, I really like the creature effects. I don't,
They really
I
did a
thought
good job with that.
I did not remember how much of a meal they make of it at certain points in time. Like they really spend some time like to show each part. Like, what about the fingernails are extending? Okay, cool. Now let's look at the wrist.
Now
Yeah,
the neck
that
is
wrist.
bubbling up. and
Yeah, the neck's getting all, but let's look at the jaw. Okay, now back to the human. Okay, now that jaw's getting even crazier. Yeah, slightly crazier. Let's go. Like really,
I mean,
that
I really,
yeah.
yeah, I that was in my notes as well. Like I really liked the effects. Like it's not CGI at all. Clearly,
They didn't have
and
it.
It's not even shaky cam either. It's like it's close up. It's just focused on the face of the werewolf transforming, and it looks pretty good for like 1980. It's just funny how like you have a whole 2-minute scene of a werewolf transforming in front of the victim, and the victim's just like politely standing there waiting for them to finish before
They're
she
in
dies.
the corner of the room.
Yeah.
What
Where
are they
gonna
do?
go,
They're
Paulo?
cornered. You're
She's
seeing this
frozen
thing
with fear.
nightmarishly freak out. Yeah, frozen with terror.
No, who knows?
Okay.
Maybe she's pregnant.
Oh, geez.
Which is a
more
line in the
child murder.
movie. Is the line in the movie when she freezes up in camera, and the lady goes,
forgot.
"What's wrong with her?" And the guy, the head producer guy, goes, "Who knows? Maybe she's pregnant." It's not that it's her first day back after potentially, being
Oh.
killed and seeing somebody die in front of her and being stalked. No, it's nothing. Maybe she's pregnant. Let's get that Asian lady, I think is what he says next, to come and fill in for her. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I completely missed those lines, but yeah, I believe that he said that they said that. He's just smoking a cigar, drinking scotch in the control room, like, oh, this broad is pregnant.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe she's pregnant. I even put it in quotes. I'm like, oh my God.
It's an enjoyable watch, though. I understand why they made like 6 of these movies.
There's so many things that didn't make sense, but again, it's 80s logic, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think like how bad the police people were at contaminating the crime scenes. They're just stepping all over that place, picking shit up. Or like the reporters when they find Eddie's house or room, and then they just touch everything and it's this picture that he drew.
And like they left and didn't tell the cops. Like, well, shh, we'll let them know once we're done. We'll let them know, let us do our thing, and then they can come in and do the whole police thing, and lock people up or whatever. Once we've got the story, like it's very dangerous what they're doing, but like very 80s.
What are the odds? I think her name was Karen, right?
Karen,
the lady. So, what are the odds that Karen's psychologist or the therapist she's going to is the one that's running the place where all the werewolves are? Like, what?
Yeah, because he definitely has an office at that place. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm also going to come with you to the colony. I haven't been there before. Yeah. It's like, oh, let's go to my colony, basically, where apparently there's a undercurrent of political intrigue. They kind of hint at it when they're having that like werewolf disagreement on like if they should integrate more with It's brief, but like the
Yeah.
doctor and the lady with like the bone necklace are like, we're different sides of the the werewolf political. Like she's Republican, he's Democrat, and they're at war. They're 50-50. You don't know which way they're going to go. And it looks like right now, when they end the movie, the Republicans are in charge.
Oh, because Marcia is the survivor. Marcia, the horny one.
Yes, the horny one.
Sorry, I gotta stop. Stop
No,
describing her as the
okay.
horny
And one thing before we move on, I also want to call out is this movie had full frontal female nudity, and gentlemen, I'm warning you right now. There's a
Where are you going with
theme. There's a theme.
No, let's not.
There's a theme. If we picked a movie this time, guys, that movie had Bush in it.
Oh, come on.
Carlos, I think yours is they artfully cut around the nude female body present in almost every scene of your film.
That was not on purpose. Didn't pay attention.
Of course not. Of course not, Carlos. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? It's just a happenstance that has occurred here, gentlemen. Wherein I'm going to point out to you the amount of and honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but this was like, I would say, the second most prudish in terms of female nudity and sex scenes in it. Like, I think it's the second only to Paulo's.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, mine was most prudish.
Most prudish, yes.
Yes.
I think the
enough.
most chaste of the films.
I would certainly not use the word prude to define possessor in any way whatsoever, so I will agree with you there.
No. When we get to talk about possessor, there's some stuff to talk
the
about
rest
with
of the
possessor.
episode. Like,
So before we move on, I do want to ask, so Paulo, you had mentioned that there's 6 of these movies. Have you guys seen any other of them?
no, I don't even know if there's 6. I know there's a lot, but
There's quite a few, as I was trying to find this one.
Yeah,
Did
you
you
have
mean
to
The Howling
specify
4?
1981.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am curious to see like where the story goes, because it was a fun story. Like, I liked the idea of it. I liked the intro and I liked the ending. My only complaint with The Howling is it did drag a little bit. Just in like, there are scenes where you could probably do it in a minute that took 7 minutes, and you're sitting there going like, okay, I get it. Let's move on to the next scene. But it was
Certainly.
otherwise like a fun idea.
20-minute werewolf
you
sex.
You can't change the transition scenes though. Those werewolves
Yeah, no.
transition scenes.
Yeah,
No,
are
and
money.
those aren't the ones. It's more like them sitting around talking, and it's like they're having a 7-minute discussion around like, I heard a wolf bark at night, and it's like, okay, I get it.
Oh, like in the tennis court, they're just like, they stop playing to be like, yeah, there's weird animals around here, huh?
Ooh, but I guess it's probably going to be okay. Yeah, I guess. So your friend's coming to town? Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I really hope that everything goes smoother when she gets here. Well, do you want to go get breakfast? I hear that the breakfast is pretty good. And then I was thinking we would stop by that place a little further up the island for lunch.
But as you guys had said earlier, like, that's a very 80s thing. Like, this movie coming out in 1981, like, that would not be out of the norm for a horror movie at all.
If it came out today in exactly the same way, I would argue that it's like an AI script. It's just there's no way.
It just is a little off.
It's just a little off. Like a good example is when the therapist gives his clients a bunch of guns to go and chase down whatever it is that's killing the livestock. So again, these people are mentally unstable, and that's why they're there. They're there for therapy. So let's give them hunting rifles and send them off into the woods.
Hey man, they're gonna do a trust fall. What's more trust than here's a couple rifles. Fuck off.
Also, why does that guy kill the bunny for?
Figure it out.
He's like, oh, I don't eat meat. Then why the hell did you kill it?
To show everybody that he's cool.
I draw the line at eating meat, but I can forgive
I killed this
animal murder.
Yeah.
There's I think, like, the other thing I noticed in these movies is there is seemingly like tragic, senseless death that happens in these movies of like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like that didn't need to happen, or that's like the most brutal way that could have gone.
In
kind
like
of things
every
in this
horror movie ever.
I didn't realize it was a trope, but like that's part of the horror, right? Is that people just get and it's got nothing to do with like the main storyline. It's just a complete non sequitur murder.
But I mean, that's the draw. Like when they made this movie, they did not have a story idea in mind. They had werewolf effects, and they needed to show those. And then later they figured out what story could help them get there. Which is
just
totally
wish,
fine.
I wish they were able to make the werewolves like move a little better. I mean, they looked great, but like when the one news lady was being eaten in the office, it kind of just looked like he was hugging her, and they just like stood there for a second.
Yeah.
Do you have real experience to go off there, Paula, as to how a werewolf should be eating its prey?
I would assume there would be some movement.
Not the werewolves I've seen.
I love the part where she was complaining about hearing these werewolves or like weird animals out in the window. So she's gonna go back to sleep. Like, don't worry about it. And so she goes back to sleep with the window wide open. That's crazy.
Horror movie logic.
About Marcia, was it Marcia? With the bone necklace gal.
Marcia.
How, like, that's crazy how much she just kind of walks up and grabs Bill by the hog, you know? Like, whoa, like, and he kind of mentions, like, I with her, what are we doing? And she's like, I don't care, like, right now. And I wonder if that's kind of a part of, like, they could tell that these were, like, good werewolf candidates in Karen and Bill. You know, like they brought them to the colony because like they're about to get werewolfed up, dog. And like, it's almost like they didn't quite get that they had already gotten through a job interview. You know, they got them to the colony to be a part of the werewolf, you know, hillbilly bang gang.
I think that was the official title.
Yeah. I think they changed it to the Howling sub
Werewolf Hillbilly Bang Gang.
Werewolf Hillbilly Gang. Yeah. Honestly, guys, we are leaving money on the table if we don't put a movie together just titled Werewolf Hillbilly Gangbang.
Oh, it's amazing.
I could have just described the movie like that and saved us like 30-40 minutes.
You did a fine job.
I really fucked up there.
Just
all right. You guys have any last things to say about The Howling before we move on?
I'm disappointed only one person actually howls in the whole movie, which is that older guy. Remember that weird transition scene? It goes from like, I think they're talking the therapist, or no, they're driving up to the colony, and then they're like, "Oh, hope there's nobody there is weird or something." And they transition to the old guy just going, "Yahee!" I'm like, what the? Why was he doing that?
And then that old guy like fantasized about throwing himself in the fire and ending it all.
Oh yeah.
Like and like you also kind of it foreshadows that he was a werewolf all along, and if you want to kill him, fire. In the absence of silver, fire, and then they tried to burn him to death. You know. I also do you guys wonder like is it like did only Marcia survive? Or was it just her, or did other people get out? Like,
no, I think other people got out.
You think other?
I think we'll find out in The Howling 2.
Howling 2, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we got to see where this story goes.
So just stop the podcast now. Go watch Howling 2.
Sure.
Screen share.
Oh, if it's anything like The Howling, we might have to go physical media. Oh, actually, no. I think the
Howling
sequels are easier to get.
Yeah.
If you guys want, we could do a giveaway because I don't know that I need to keep a Blu-ray of The Howling in my house.
What?
Like the cover kind of scares me. Like the art throws me off. I don't like seeing it. But it feels weird. So like we could, if people write in or like, hey, I want that Blu-ray. If they're comfortable sharing their mailing address, I will mail them a Blu-ray copy of The Howling. for
I like how
the podcast.
we talked about how much older Ben and I are to Carson as he was talking about his birthday, and I love that Ben just referenced writing in.
Oh no, what would you even call it? Email. No,
comments?
comment.
I don't know.
DM us.
One of those young
DM the pod.
whippersnappers.
Yeah,
Write in.
People don't say write in. Come on,
I'll
like,
buy you a buck of stamps so you can write into the podcast.
Oh no. Yeah, I swear to God, we're gonna find out Carson went through puberty super young, and he's only like 22 years old.
Yeah, that's amazing right there.
Yeah.
I'll trade you my Possessor DVD copy for your Howling. That's much better.
Oh, that is terrifying.
You didn't buy it just for
No,
this, did you?
no.
Okay, good.
Although
No,
Ben
it's-
did
it's-
buy the Howling just for
I did
this.
buy the Howling for this. Yes, I absolutely did. Yeah, I'm happy that I have it, but I'd also be happy to give it away if anybody, wants it. DM the podcast. It has to be a picture of artist rendition of what you think Paulo's butt is. Okay. Just put that in
It's
there.
just just a Howling cover again.
Wow, and there's stuff like peeking out from inside of it.
It gets worse the more you think about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
skin, Paulo. It's skin.
It's yeah. It's also a TARDIS, a terrible, terrible TARDIS.
Oh Jesus! All right,
Okay.
I think we're done, Chris.
Yeah, we should probably move on from talking about the Howling.
All right, I'm gonna hard cut to next movie, and probably the biggest, like the most different movies would be The Howling and The Possessor. So I'm gonna talk about The Possessor next. That was mine, and then Carlos is gonna do the intro or try to explain this movie to the audience. Good luck, Carlos, trying to explain this. Basically, my rationale for recommending this movie is out of disdain for you guys, making me have to watch the Conjuring movies. Just know that I held back because I had other movies in mind
Oh no!
where I was like,
I'm disappointed,
dude.
Carson.
I was like, I really want to make you guys watch like the artsiest, weirdest horror movie that I can think of. And I thought of some stuff, and I was like, that's maybe a bit too far. I've already made Paulo watch Titan, so maybe I'll hold back a little bit. So I chose The Possessor, which is a well, I'll let Carlos explain it a little bit, but like I genuinely like this movie. It's one of my top 5 horror movies probably of the last like decade or so. But it's definitely a Carson type movie, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So,
Oh my God! Yeah,
I'd be
no,
curious.
This movie.
I'd be curious to hear your actual recommendation or the ones that you would have otherwise have picked, because I got really excited once I realized that this was a Brandon Cronenberg movie. Because David Cronenberg, very famous, right? Videodrome, The Fly. What's the other one that's really good? Scanners, I think.
Scanners has the famous head explosion scene.
Yep. And I had watched recently Infinity Pool, which was another Brandon Cronenberg movie, and I really enjoyed that movie. So when you recommended Possessor, I didn't know it was a Brandon Cronenberg movie until we started watching it, or I started watching it, and then immediately I'm like, what is this? The visual looks so friggin' familiar. It's because it was Brandon Cronenberg, and it looked just a lot of the scenes were shot just like Infinity Pool, and the sound was amazing. The visuals were super gross, which I loved. But effectively, I mean, the movie is I think, great kind of body snatcher kind of storyteller, where they've kind of perfected body snatching, where you can get downloaded into a body, and it's this company that essentially it's a hitman for hire, right? I think that's probably the best way. That they're assassins that take over people that are closest to their targets, and then possess them, essentially. Hence the possessor. But things start to go awry, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she has her own kind of hesitations, and I think we start to learn this at the end of the movie a little bit, where she has her own hesitations towards her family, and we see a little bit of it. And I want to ask you guys this as I go into it, but in the beginning, first of all, opening scene was phenomenal, right? You think about first of all, just with being plugged in and her like adjusting the different settings on her new body so she can be better aligned was super creepy. The ASMR, the sound of the hair follicles being moved, being plugged in. I thought it was amazing. I was a big fan of that.
The little trickle of blood as it
Yeah.
goes into the port.
I missed out on that.
Oh, it was so good. You almost got to watch it again, Paulo, just for the sound. Anyways,
I don't think Paulo's
I'm
going to
gonna
watch
take
it.
your word for it.
I enjoyed it because I thought the sound was such a big, like, I felt sound was its own character in this movie, because even with like the waterfalls, the people talking in the background, everything, like it was very ASMR. Like when she rubs her hand in the blood and you can hear the squishiness of her like playing around with it. Big fan of all of that. I really enjoyed that. Obviously, you know, as a sane person, that stuff is crazy pants. But in a movie, I really like the visuals. It was so incredibly well shot. But to my point, I'll start saying "but" because I think I keep saying "but," but I just said it again. What we find at the end, because she has a really hard time, because part of getting unplugged, you know, a la Neo, right? Hey, like pull me out, right? Kind of thing. It's almost very Matrixy in that sense, where pull me out kind of thing. But she couldn't. She has to essentially kill herself. I think for multiple different reasons, but it almost feels like there is a technical reason why she needs to kill herself, before she unplugs. But she hesitates. She's not able to do it. So instead, she does like suicide by cop or unalive by cop. I don't know if we're changing that term. But what I found was there was, at the end of the movie, it had me thinking about the first scene where she had a hard time pulling the trigger, and it seemed that because of her hesitation of her family still wanting, I didn't know if it was the old personality just trying to take over and she wasn't strong enough, or the alignment wasn't right, or it was herself not wanting to do that because she had a husband and a kid at home that she wanted to go home to. She didn't want to commit that act and not see them anymore. And you hear that a little bit when she's talking to Voss, which is, I think, her boss, and all. I think that's her manager, right? I think is the appropriate term there.
Yeah.
Where they talk about how it's holding her back from getting to a level where she wanted her to be at, and she could be the ultimate, essentially, agent, and can be running the show eventually. But she feels like there's something holding her back, and I think that's her family. And I think when we get to the end, which is one of the most messed up endings, and I'm just like, oh my god.
The boss's name is Girder.
Girder. So Voss is the company?
No, Voss is another.
Voss is the
name
main-
of the main character, or
Yeah.
Taz.
Oh
Taz or
yeah,
Voss.
I thought she was Toss or okay, cool. Well, I
Voss
stand
and,
corrected.
and Gertie.
Voss and Gertie. Oh no.
Girder. Talk about my dog in here, Paulo.
So when Gertie goes into the small shop,
No.
That would have been a
Not-
much happier ending. With the child would just be like going around sniffing flowers.
Oh yeah, no. my
Nowhere
dog
near the
would
action.
Immediately start murdering.
Yeah, just
even
grass
more
and-
efficiently,
for sure.
just with a lot of speed and enthusiasm now.
There's some weirdos that tried plugging in an animal to, right, to a person.
Oh,
But anyways,
man, the way
So-
you talk about this creeps me out.
oh
Oh yeah, this ASMR of all this playing with the blood, like
loved it.
I know you love it
I
so much.
loved it. I thought, again, the visuals, especially the transition scene from going to her in her own body and being melted, literally melted, and then recreated. Just those visuals that Brandon Cronenberg did, I thought was amazing. Again, very Cronenberg-like. I think, Ben, you and I were talking about it before. Is like, hey, is there any kind of body manipulation things that I should be aware of before I watch this movie? And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Although I'll be honest, like most of these movies, I worked myself all the way up, headed into it. So like it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. In terms of the Cronenbergness,
Yeah.
like that what we got, like a little bit of body shifting, gender fuckery kind of going on there, and then like on the other hand, you got like a face melt that looks pretty gross, and then like it's a face on top of a face is like a metaphor of what's going on, and it's gross. It's super gross. And then all that stuff about plugging in and digging into the brain. Blech.
Yeah.
All of that stuff I would say is not super gross. It's like I would say borderline a little fun, just like how weird the visuals are. The one scene that got a little gross for me was when they gets like the fire prod in the mouth and he's like twisting teeth out and all that. And it's like
Yeah.
that kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh holy shit.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Paula.
Oh, no, I was just gonna add on to that because I remember we were talking about this before. Like I had started the movie, and then I hadn't finished it, and I was telling Carson that I had started it, and he was like, "Did you get to that scene?" And I was like, by the end of the movie, I was like, "Which one was he talking about?" Because it was like there was the fire prod.
Stuff.
There was yeah, and the fire prod one in particular, like, was just sickening for me. Like, you guys seem very happy about watching this movie. I was not at all.
Paul, I'm with you. Like it takes the time to like pop an eye out. You saw that part, right? Where he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to specifically go after the eye,"
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
probably back to like look like she's trying to get to the back of the throat, like the spine through the mouth,
Yeah.
kind of stabbing, and like God, and like that guy lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like,
the messed up part.
You know, or if ever briefly, I think, you know, maybe they closed the loop on that, but man, that movie is messed up. Come on.
The second
Feels a
I
little
saw
bit
Sh-
like you know, they were doing the special effects, and you know, you do a scene like that, and you have your dummy, and you maybe shoot it, and you think a second is going to go into the movie, so you don't make it look super realistic. And they probably did it, and they're like, you know, that doesn't look too bad. Like, let's just keep putting that in the movie, because it comes out of left field. It's kind of like, why did you go that far?
Well,
Well,
I'll also say that
it's like a ramp.
yeah. Well, typically movies would cut away, right? Like that
Mhm.
you would, but they just keep showing it to you, which was like you're gonna sit here and listen to all of this.
Yeah, that's the biggest
She
problem that I
digs.
had with this movie, because like sure, the visuals and like the plugging in and plugging out, like melding with other people, that stuff looked cool. I get it, but like everything else, just the and I'm not usually like this, so I don't know if it's just me being more sensitive these days or just this movie in particular being too much, but I felt like just the amount that they were showing was like kind of in service of nothing. Like okay, I get it. It's like the conversation in The Howling where it's like going 7 minutes too long about like the character's breakfast, except in this case it's Sean Bean getting his face like rearranged with a fire poker. It's like, okay, just you killed him. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
the whole movie, I think, is meant to be uncomfortable from start to finish, because I think she's also very uncomfortable. I think so when we talk about the beginning part, so she, sorry, let's go back to the movie, in more more chronological order. So after she gets her first target, she transitions back. I love the scene where they're talking, like they're making sure that it's still her, so she still remembers the different pieces of her, and her emotional attachment to things like the pipe and all that kind of stuff. The butterfly, I thought that was pretty neat. And then I love the scene where she's standing outside the house of where her son and her husband is, and before going in there, she's trying to remember how she sounds and how they remember her. So it's almost like she's fighting with identity. She's been living as a
Mhm.
different person for X many days, or who knows how long it's been. I thought that was so incredibly well done. I thought that was really neat, and we see a lot more of that as we get into the next possession that she does, which kind of goes awry. But I'll pause there. I think Ben has some thoughts on that.
No, I think they did a really good job of laying the groundwork for what Voss looks like at the beginning, so that you really kind of you get to earn kind of the journey, like through some of these phrases and through some of these visuals, right? Like of, again, like rehearsing how she sounds and what are the ways that she responds to things, and then also doing that for every other possession that she has to do, and then having to kind of loop back around to do it again, and you see it change. You see it get worse or different as she's kind of reestablishing what she wants to, how she gets back to normal, because each time it's changing her. and it calls into question, like, has this happened before? You know,
Yeah.
like, is this just a full circle that we've witnessed, like almost a rotation, and then this is just kind of like a life cycle of this partnership between these two people, and it could even involve these families, right? Like these families could exist, and it just be like a long cycle of this weird psychic assassin victim / worst murderer.
Yeah. Oh, I think she's a serial killer in real life. She's just getting paid to do it. I think that's the best way to put it, because, she could just shoot the guy in the beginning, but she doesn't. She stabs him. To even ask, like, why did you stab him? Like, what was the purpose?
You had a gun.
Yeah.
I interpreted that as more like career ambition, because it didn't came out like that she was doing it for enjoyment purposes. It was like, I stabbed him because I wanted to really sell this murder as being an emotional thing, that, it wasn't just someone doing a cold calculated. And even the way that, like, she goes back to her family at one point, and then, she gets back on the phone being like, oh, I got to do another job. Like, it's like her company is telling her to rest, and she's like, no, I want to get back out there and keep doing what I do best.
I saw that as.
I think I'm with Carson. Sorry, Carlos, you were gonna basically say the same thing.
Yeah, I think it was there. I think she wants to get back out there. She enjoyed the killing part of it, because the other part is when she's getting it on with her husband, it's very emotionless, right? You see her not really enjoying it. She's just kind of going through the motions. It isn't until she starts to visualize him bleeding from the throat, like she stabbed that guy, that all of a sudden the emotions turn on. She starts reacting differently. She starts to get excited, and so she gets back on the phone saying, "I want to get back out there, because the only thing that's making me feel alive is other people is taking other lives."
And more to that point, I think both of those things are happening at the same time, Carson, and it's kind of left to the viewer to determine which do you think is the primary motivation. Is she trying to get access to more murder and like sate this weird bloodlust thing that she doesn't quite understand, that's been kind of taking over her over like all these different jumps, like an escalating sense of brutality and like an escalating need almost to like do worse things? And then you could just, that would be the language of getting access to more of it in her reality, right? Oh no, I want this to be publicized. I want them to know that this is something that we can handle at the, our creepy possession assassin place. We take the crazy stuff out, and if you need someone to murder like 16, 17 orphans, we'll do it. Like if we have to do that, if we have to be the ones, if you want to like a truckload of nuns, just boom, right off a mountaintop. That's us. We're spitballing. We're just trying to tell you where the line is. Like anything up to that, we're down.
Yeah. The other way that I was interpreting this is it was kind of hinting that with each person that she goes into, an impression of them kind of implants onto her personality. And like the people that they were choosing were people who maybe kind of had motivation and, were already thinking of murdering somebody. And so, if you do that, if you go into 20 other people who kind of want to murder someone a little bit, was that kind of being given to her without her will? Like, maybe she went into it cold and calculated, and now it was slowly over time getting to her.
I totally think that is a possibility, and like that definitely aligns with all that weird stuff about the repetition of the phrases and it changing. And then I want to talk about the end of the movie as well. But I have something else to say about the repetition of things. Like they also drop something at the end that I wonder if you guys all noticed.
Oh, no, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on when we get there, for sure.
Yeah.
So, going back to the movie, right? So she takes another job, like Ben was talking about. It's a big one. It's one that can definitely put the company on the map, kind of thing, and put them on the map. So she obviously wants to take it on. The Girder, right? Girder is hesitant because Voss isn't looking too good. She can tell something's off. She doesn't want to put her out there if she's not ready. But Voss insists that she's good to go. So they put her in there because obviously she's the best agent and the one she can rely on. I love the scene where, it's not just put ourselves in his body, and then off we go. I love that there's research that's done. She learns how to keep the cadence and how how he might do things or say things. I thought that was brilliant as well, just showing that it's not just plug and play. I really love the visuals around, I would assume Brandon's vision of what this sci-fi, body manipulation or body kind of insertion will look like. I thought that was really cool, all the weird tech. I want to ask you guys, what kind of period do you think this is happening? Because we see flip phones, but then, when she gets into Colin, which is the guy that she body snatches next, and goes to his work, there's like the monitors, or they have a VR headset that can see. I mean, that part was kind of messed up too, and I think I'm sure Brandon was saying something about our own technology. We have cameras in front of our phones, and the things that we do in front of our cameras without knowing who is watching, kind of thing. I thought that was kind of creepy, but I couldn't put my thumb on kind of the period that this was happening, because there's a lot of old technology and new technology kind of meshed together.
It felt a little bit like that subgenre of sci-fi where it's like the sci-fi that the 70s would have thought of.
Yeah.
Like it had a lot of old vibe, but like modern 70s, if that makes sense.
Like dystopian near future.
Yeah.
Like if things got messed up like in the 80s, but now we're in like 2050. Still kind of clawing back from whatever catastrophic thing happened in the 80s, but we were pretty far along when that crazy thing happened. It's kind of the thing, how I get it, because like those aren't regular jobs, right? We don't have low jacking people into brains.
Or so you think, Ben.
Or so
they're not going to tell you about that.
Right, yeah. Conspiracy corner.
And to make it more real for you guys, all filmed in Toronto, and it's very Toronto-esque vibe to it.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about that point, Carson? I noticed that immediately about the movie, and I thought to myself, oh, good. I'll find that distracting. Because I'll be noticing landmarks because I live in Toronto, and I'll see it, and that'll take me out of it. And then I forgot that it had anything to do with Toronto at all for the rest of the movie, because it's such a freaky movie that I lost track of that point at all. And I'm just like, oh no, I had to watch so much of this movie through my hands, dude. Because I was worried about what it was going to show me.
Yeah, but it wasn't scared due to anything kind of haunting or paranormal. It was more just the visuals were just so out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I loved it, man. Okay, so anyways, just to kind of quickly recap the rest of this movie, she ends up getting her mark, Sean Bean, which we all know as soon as Sean Bean's on screen, that dude's dying. And he's dying horribly, right? I mean, pick a movie or a TV show that he's been in where he doesn't just die brutally, right?
It's his thing. He's got a thing.
That's what he's known for. Super weird. But anyways, worst scene in the world, right? Watching Sean Bean die. I didn't think it'd get worse than some of the stuff we already saw, but once we saw that, like, that was pretty friggin' messed up. But again, the noise, awesome. It gets time again to off herself so she could get unplugged, and she's not able to do it. The personality of Colin starts taking over, and there's this struggle, like who's who, and then Colin starts taking over her memory, so he starts to see where she lives, and it's an interesting, at the ending, I wasn't sure if it was left to interpretation, because what I thought was, obviously Girder takes over her son in the end. Because Colin, supposedly it's Colin that's fighting her husband in Colin's body while she watches. I would almost argue that she's letting them take over, because again, when we talk about at the beginning of the movie, it was her family that was holding her back. So this is her out. This is her way to get rid of her family. And you see it afterwards in the end when she gets unplugged and she's going through again the memories of the pipe, the memories of the butterfly, and the different objects. It's emotionless. Where in the beginning there were some emotions. She got really happy when she thought about her dad smoking the pipe, and she got really happy about the butterfly. And not happy, but just very. But now she's looking at this.
She specifically mentioned feeling lasting guilt
Yeah,
about the butterfly at the beginning, and then when she tells that same story at the end, no mention of guilt.
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So there was a moment there where I thought that she let all of this happen. It wasn't Colin that did it. It was almost her doing it along, just letting Colin do it. Um, and so, anyways, I thought it was a brilliant movie. I had a good time with it. 2 thumbs up, 5 fingers, high five. I don't know what the rating is, but big fan. So, Carson, if you were choosing this because you thought this was going to be like, oh no, Carlos is not going to like this movie, he's gonna think, I thought it was brilliant. So, give me another one, man.
Yeah. The other thing that I would mention is there's a wonderful, I would call it like a montage where he is slowly taking his body back from her, and there's like this weird like they're two people existing in the same body, and that's where
Yeah.
you get like the weird like he's having sex with the girlfriend, but it's like half the female body and half the male body, and then like the part where he literally collapses her head and then starts wearing her face through like all the experiences that she's
yeah.
had. It's just like wonderful visuals.
Yeah, big fan.
Now that you mention it, so I watched these movies in an order of The Howling, followed by The Invitation, then The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which we haven't talked about those two yet, and then The Possessor. And I was starting to notice that each one of these movies had nudity in it.
Come on.
A little bit of bush, here and there. And then we get to Possessor, and whoa, Possessor said, "Hold my beer." And you think a little bit of light full frontal nudity is something. How about a guy's shaved balls from the back? Huh? Whoa. And then the craziest, most erect penis I've seen in a regular old movie in quite some time. Like, who amongst us has seen a more like raging bone depicted in
Oh
cinema
my god.
in the past 10 years? I'll say it. Like they didn't even show Dirk Diggler hard.
I'm really racking my brain right now, B-ball, to think of when I've seen another one.
I
A
love the
scary
fact that you're
movie, like
thinking
one of the
about it,
scary
Paolo.
movies.
So
Paolo's
I can
putting some
think of
thought
a
into
few,
it.
but maybe that'll be for a future episode.
Yeah.
Instead of horror movies, boner movies.
Even scary.
Boner movies.
Boner movies. Oh my god, no.
All right, we will cap off the Possessor discussion there, and we will transition to The Invitation, which was Paulo's movie. So how about you do a little bit of an introduction, and then I think Ben is going to walk us through that one.
The Invitation is a movie I've seen a couple times. Actually, it was recommended to me by one of our previous guests, Peter B. A very long time ago. I just remember watching it that first time on a whim, and because he recommended it, he didn't tell me anything about it. And I usually don't watch things like that, or like out of my own. Like I usually don't just pick something like that on my own. But I was glad I did, because it's just really interesting, and I kind of cheated because my original pick for a horror movie to recommend would have been The Void. We talked about that, but we've also talked about The Void on a previous podcast, so couldn't pick that one again. And that's a little more of a traditional horror
That was going to
movie.
be one of my first questions for you, is if you remember that we've actually talked about The Invitation on this podcast already.
Oh my God, did we?
Yeah.
No, I forgot about that.
It was actually Peter who came on the podcast and recommended it to you while we were recording, and then we talked about it for 10 minutes. But that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we've come a long way, because now we talk about movies for like 40 minutes. So, so I apologize, Peter. I know you're not listening, but I forgot about our conversation from 3 years ago. The podcast.
This is like 7 years ago, and I did tell him about it, by the way.
Tell him about what? That I picked
Peter,
it again?
that we were talking about it again.
Okay. Well, I expect to hear see a message from him very soon. I mean, at least I gave him a credit for
Yeah, you sourced
recommending
him.
it to me. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I just thought of this great movie on my own. No one told me about it. I just
I
wanted
was
you guys to
hoping
watch
you
it.
were
And
going
it
to
was
do
not
that,
fun.
and then I was going to call you out at the end of the conversation. So
I'm not that much of a shitty person, just a little
Oh,
bit.
God.
Yeah, it's not it's pretty unique, I guess, in terms of the story, and that's why I picked it. Not really a traditional horror movie, but it's kind of spooky if you think about it.
Yeah, I would agree. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of the most likely to actually happen of the horror films that we watched. So a fella gets invited to a dinner party. It's the invitation. He hasn't seen these people in 2 years since he had a terrible tragedy befall him and his wife. They had a kid who was like 5, 6, whatever. And unfortunately, there was an accident at a birthday party, and the child died. And then they kind of both disappeared into their grief. Will kind of by staying at home seemingly and trying to just mourn, and Eden, as far as he knows, and he's our protagonist, just kind of takes off. And this is the first time he's seeing her for 2 years. And when he gets there, there's just weird vibes, like super creepy, kind of like Scientology cult vibes. But also, he's not the best. He's not at his best. You can see him kind of being kind of paranoid right away, a little reactionary, a little brisk. And he starts to kind of snoop around, and he uncovers things that seem a little off or a little sinister. And then the cult-ish members, like there's a few people there that aren't friends of the group. They're just friends of the couple that invited them. And they are members of like this seemingly, it's either an MLM or a cult. Initially, it's not really clear what their motivation is. But then they show the whole crew like a video of this person passing, and were people like breathing in to like inhale their essence after they passed. And it's just it's at a dinner party, and so that kind of is like this weird question mark of the whole thing. So he keeps seeing all these mounting evidence of them being a cult that's going to do something dangerous to them, but he is kind of known to be unreliable in his friend group and has been grieving for so long, and is really seemingly questioning himself as well throughout the whole process. So he sees these things and he makes outbursts and accusations, but then the cult members just have easy answers for them. Oh, it's this. It just kind of explains away. Oh, this thing, you seem like it's an overreaction. And these things continue to mount. This movie has the second least full frontal, no, actually the least full frontal nudity in it. There's just a scant hint of just like 2 seconds of bush, no boobs, because topless, the free-spirited cult member
Right.
like looks at him once and she's like, I'm not wearing anything downstairs, what's up? And then later on she's like, bone? And he's like, no.
there's a little bit of boobs later in the movie too.
Oh, sorry.
Very briefly.
Thank you, Carson. Good call out. Yeah, so and again, mounting evidence, and he seems like it's just paranoid potential leaps. But then again, the cult members keep doing things that are beyond what you would anticipate a regular person would. Like the one older cult member tells this terrible story about how he accidentally punched his wife to death with like one blow, and then just that's it. But that, and like weirdly, there is kind of a message there of like people should be able to be redeemed. Anyway, it's actually a very straightforward film, so I can kind of summarize that kind of shit keeps happening to him for a little while. And it all builds to this toast, wherein at that point, he's pretty sure that these guys are a terrible cult that's about to try to kill everybody with this wine. And one person drinks, and before anyone else could drink, he slaps the glasses down and screams, "Don't touch it, it's fucking poison!" And like everyone gets real quiet and everyone looks at him like he's just crazy. And I think if this was a movie that Carson had picked, that would be the end of the film, and you would have no idea anything after this. But then that's when the movie completely turns from paranoid nightmare that could really happen to somebody into murder cult. They locked the doors for a reason. It's time. They had been planning on murdering them this whole time. And the fact that this thing doesn't work out with the whole mass poisoning thing does not mean the murder stops. So they start, trying to, circle meets the square of everybody, so that they can ultimately, their motivation, of course, they cover is that they, by killing all these people and themselves, will release themselves from their pain. It kind of reveals that none of them have actually dealt with their pain. They've just kind of tied it to this idea of this ultimate resolution. But the pain that they are kind of denying and pushing kind of powers them to do these insane, terrible acts against other people. And they end up just kind of heading down a road that they have no control over. They do their best. They don't succeed. The cult doesn't succeed. There's 3 survivors, the main couple, and then a friend of theirs. It's interesting how the friend kind of pops up at the end and, is the guy that does the fatal blow on the last surviving cult member. But again, I think that's horror, baby. Sometimes it just kind of happens. Things just kind of happen, random. I got him. All right, now we're out. And then something pays off right at the end of the movie, which is kind of fascinating and awesome. And maybe they made more of these. I don't know. But mid-movie, you see a character kind of innocuously go out and light a lantern that, ignites a red glow on a lantern. And you don't think much of it. But they do spend some time showing it to you. And then at the end of the movie, they go out to the lawn where you can see the lanterns lit, and you hear in the distance, Carlos like an ASMR thing. You hear in the distance like choppers and sirens and gunshots and people screaming, and you see just like a sea of red lanterns all along the valley where they were living. And so it's a popular cult. There were a lot of people lined up to do it at the same time. So pretty cool movie. I feel like, again, like the nightmare element of this movie is it starts from a nightmare. You are going to a dinner party. That's who hasn't had that terrible affliction brought upon you. Long lost friends dinner party. Oh yeah, run, don't walk to that. That's not, especially after the circumstances they've described. Like that's right away death. So then you add the murder cult on top of that, and it just is stacking. And again, like I said, I think there's a version of this movie in which no one was in an actual murder cult. It was an MLM, and then the main character kills himself. And it's just a super dark movie.
I guess I can't invite Ben to my next dinner party, I guess.
Oh, for you, Carson, I will travel the 6 hours to get to Ottawa from here. And
for Carson to poison you with wine.
yeah. Good poisoning effects in that. Really believe the poisoning.
What I appreciate about this movie is just how far they take it before they reveal what type of movie it is. Because all that murder cult stuff that you talked about is like the last 10 minutes. And you really... like when I first watched this movie, it was on this episode where Peter recommended it to us, and I didn't know anything about it. He just said, I'm recommending a movie called The Invitation, watch it before we record. And so me going into it, like, up until the end, I wasn't sure, is this a horror movie or is this a movie about grief? Because it very well could have been, like the way that they played it, that, you know, he has outbursts, like he's the one who's, you know, calling out this group and saying, hey, you're doing all this weird stuff. But he even has an outburst near the end of the movie where he's like, oh, you know, this boyfriend hasn't showed up, but he left me a message saying he was here hours ago. And then it's revealed that, oh, he actually is still alive and the boyfriend was just late. And you're like, you as the audience are thinking like, you know, this guy might actually just be reading into things. Like he might be dealing with his grief in his weird ways. So I appreciate that they played it really straight until the end, and then of course it blows up into Murder Cult. But it's played really well.
And even when it like fully devolves into like Murder Cult stuff, it doesn't go completely over the top. Like it's literally just people fighting.
It
like,
is still people. Like, it never crosses into full like supernatural. Like no one survives things that they shouldn't. I don't think no one does that.
No, not really. I mean, like the
They're
killer,
people.
you don't have like Jason where he's getting shot like 8 times and then still coming after the survivors and stuff like that. So it still makes it very real at the end.
They resisted the urge to have the big older guy be some kind of Hulk.
Yeah,
you know, which oftentimes that feels like a default in horror. You know, take whoever the biggest guy is on the, you know, the bad guy team, and then they are indestructible.
Yeah,
like they can just take mad damage. But you know, that guy goes down to someone hitting him with like a book or statue. I forget
a statue.
It was a bottle. Yeah.
And then he gets his brain kind of smushed in.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I think I literally wrote it'd be great if this movie was just a normal movie and the guy was just paranoid the entire time.
Okay, perfect. I'm totally there. Yeah.
It's funny that I think it feels like we all had the kind of same reaction to it. I will say, and I meant to say this for Possessor as well, the acting is phenomenal. What makes these movies, especially because they're so far fetched, is the acting. Big fan of, I forget his name. Logan Marshall. The guy.
Marshall Green.
Yeah, he was in like Spider-Man: Homecoming. I remember him from that. Big fan of Tammy Blanchard. Also, I think I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like Michelle Huisman, the one, the now. I don't know, the new husband of the ex-wife. I forget what his name. I recently just finished watching Haunting of Hill House,
David,
with my teenage son, and he's one of the kids in that, and so I was thrilled to see that he was in this movie because he did such a good job with Haunting of Hill House, and then to see him in The Invitation, I was like, yes, more of that guy. But again, great movie. Absolutely loved it. I hate home invasion type movies because they almost land too real. They almost seem too real. To Ben's point, this is the most realistic movie. Well, I gotta imagine this is inspired by so many things. Where you can think about the Mansion. The Manson, Charles Manson movie. Yeah. Murders. What's it called? The big
Heaven's
one
Gate
with
Cult.
Yeah, the Jonestown one. I think that's a big one where they all drink the Kool-Aid and, you know, a few hundred people die.
David Koresh and his like Waco compound.
Yeah, it's pronounced Wacko.
Is it?
No, that's an Office reference. Sorry.
Oh, you bastard. No. He got me, son of a bitch.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, I hate that a lot of this, like, it's seated in truth, in reality. So that part's not fun for the brain. But yeah, I was very uncomfortable watching this movie too. Just the relationship between the ex-husband and the wife, and with the new husband, and the fact that they're forcing all of their friends to come and equally be as uncomfortable as everybody's meant to be in that movie, in that scenario. And then let's watch a murder video. Pruitt, I think the big guy, starts talking about how he murdered his wife, like you mentioned. Like, it's all so uncomfortable. Yes. The locking of the doors, right? The girl that's constantly throwing herself at, like, very inappropriately at the guy. That
weird game of I want,
yeah.
and then it's just people like pushing the boundaries of a social situation consciously, and immediately you go to like, oh, how would you start getting people into a cult? Like, how would you soft launch that? Probably that, like that kind. It very good writing, like, and just really well,
Very
like,
smart.
and very well paced, like that stuff where you're just kind of watching him, and you can see like him thinking, like, did I get this wrong? Did
Yeah.
I, have I, because he has so many of those moments where it seems like he's misinterpreted the situation and he's gaslit hard, and, has just, you can see the shame overcome him, again and again as these things keep happening, and he feels like he's doing the right thing, but then he's, consistently rebuffed until, again, like, the dam breaks, and he's kind of, it's a weird catharsis in a way for that guy, right?
To be proven right at the end.
Because the entire night he's getting beat up on stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, this is a weird vibe. And they're like, you're being a weird vibe, dude. Like the whole night until the end when, that one party gal like asphyxiates on the poison, and he can be like, I fucking told you so.
Yeah.
You think
as the guns
he
come
sees
out,
her like poisoned? Yeah, you think he was like it's secretly in the back of his mind, like, oh thank God.
Yeah. Like,
You
dude,
see,
I would've
Claire?
been a
You see?
total dick.
I wasn't just being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say I told you so, but
yeah. Oh man, and the movie also started with like being uncomfortable when he has to Mercy kill the coyote, right?
oh
Like,
right.
the whole start of it is just super uncomfortable.
That's another weird theme, having a Mercy
There's
kill
a
an
few
animal.
other movies
Yeah.
that I've seen like recently that have that, and I don't know why it's such a common.
We're gonna talk about one after this, Paulo.
Well, yeah.
They Mercy
Yeah.
kill
Yeah.
an
cat.
animal in that movie. Yep.
Oh yeah,
100%.
no, but I'm talking specifically about like at the very beginning of a movie, an animal dies because of like roadkill or like, I know it happens in Get Out near the very beginning.
Right. Yep.
There's another one that I'm thinking about. I want to say Hereditary, but I know it's not that one. I don't know, but it's literally that moment early in the movie. Someone hits an animal with their car. They either have to put out their misery or it just dies outright. And that's like, it's like foreshadowing, but it's specifically that, and happens so often.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I can't think of other examples, but I do know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, like you're entering into the new area, and part of it is just that dark omen of, oh no, you've killed something and you didn't mean to.
Yeah.
And you kind of can't undo it. And then I think as the audience, it's one of the most uncomfortable things that everyone has to experience at some point.
And you thought that was bad? Now you have to go to this dinner party.
No. But he immediately have to face death, right? And I mean, the whole point of the dinner party is to try to put. And again, to Carson's point at the beginning, could we next time we do, could we have no kids dying? And that's
I would love that. You know how difficult it is to really either get a kid or a parent die? Like, finding movies that don't have somebody die, that would be the challenge. I have a few that I can think of, but they're scant.
You mean movies in general, or do you mean
movies in general?
Movies?
There are basically watch 90% of movies. Some of the drama is derived from either somebody having passed and their memory driving them forward into action, or someone passing over the course of the film being the impetus for further action, or someone dying at the end of the film, sort of closing out the chapter of their lives. Like, death is in almost all films. It's really, you really got to pick your spots. What was one? It was something like Bill and Marge Go Large. You remember this? You remember this? No, it's got Bryan Cranston in it and somebody else, and it's about this small town that like cracks a code or something, and I forget what the name of it is, but it's amazing because no one dies, and everyone's pretty okay throughout most of the movie. Like, yeah, there are stakes, but at no point you're like, that person's going to be decapitated.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the opposite, where in Bill and Marge Go Large, everyone dies.
No one does. Like, that's what's great about it. Jerry and Marge Go Large. I was so close. Yeah, it's from 2022, and it's a delight. Nobody passes, and that is very rare in movies.
All right, stop trying to think about happy things, people. Let's get to the autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh yeah, the autopsy of Jane Doe.
All right, so this last one, Carlos, you picked that one. So why don't you give us a quick intro to that, and then I'll walk through the movie.
Yeah, I guess one of the main reasons I picked it because I was thinking about. I had you in mind, Carson, because I wanted a fun movie, a fun, scary. I consider this a popcorny horror movie. But I know that one of the things you really, I think, enjoy is a good backstory in a movie, like something that propels the movie forward. And so I picked this movie because I love the idea of there being essentially a human relic that is cursed, a cursed item. And I love that the creation of her and where the curse originated is based off of the stuff that was done to her. And I know you're going to talk about it, but I get really excited because again, there's a lot of kind of cheap scares kind of peppered throughout the movie, but also it has the story element of it. It's a lot of fun. I love that it's based in the morgue. Just because that's already naturally scary, and the movie, even though the Jane Doe hasn't arrived to the morgue, it's still spooky, and even the son is scared as he's walking around, and when he gets a nice little quick jump scare. But that's why I picked it, because I thought it was a fun, scary movie, but also it was still scary, and I thought you might enjoy a bit of the background. And I love when things are set like 200 years or 300 years ago, and that's the basis of kind of what's happening now.
Yeah, I will say I enjoyed this movie more than I thought I would. I don't know why, but the entire time that we were talking about this, I read the word autopsy, but for some reason my mind said exorcism. So up until going into this movie, I thought it was going to be the exorcism of Jane Doe. And then the movie started and I was like, oh, an autopsy is not an exorcism. These are two different things. So yeah, the premise of the movie, there are a father and son who run a morgue. They do autopsies, and one night there is a grisly murder on the other side of town. The cop, he says, hey, I can explain everything else, but this is a really weird body that was on the scene. You guys got to give me an answer tonight. And so, they stay late. There's a storm outside. It's setting the mood, and they go through this autopsy. One of the things that I really enjoyed about it is, I don't know anything about doing an autopsy, but I felt like these guys were they were doing it as an actual person would. And so like there's a slow trickle throughout the movie of this thing's a little weird. And, the son's pointing it out, and the dad chimes in of like, hey, that's weird, but, I've seen this before, this can be explained by X, Y, and Z. Little things like they cut into the body and all the blood starts flowing out. And so it's like, that's a creepy visual, but it's like, okay, you can explain that. And then it slowly ramps up where it's weirder and weirder. They find like a tooth that's in her stomach, or they, open her eyes and they say these eyes look like they've been dead for hundreds of years, but, that doesn't match what like the time of death is. And, this slowly ramps more and more through the movie, that the further they're going through this autopsy, the more cursed stuff start happening. And the eventual reveal is, this body that's been there the whole time, she's a witch from the Salem witch trials. And so, as you were alluding to, Carlos, like she herself is a cursed object. And so at one point they even cut into her brain and they say, oh, the reason we couldn't find the cause of death is because she's not dead yet. and like she's actually cursing this environment. She's bringing back, dead bodies back to life to curse them, and the cat dies at one point, or not dies, but they have to put it out of its misery because it gets really badly injured. And all of this is set in the morgue. I quite enjoy single setting stories, and this is exactly that. Like it's a father and son doing an autopsy in a basement. All the weird stuff happens there. Like you're really grounded in what the environment is. And then it just, obviously ramps more and more up until a more extreme conclusion. But yeah, I'll leave it there as the general gist of the movie.
I would add just a handful of things there. One, I love that at the beginning shots, we really get a good layout of what we're working with, the environment, what the halls look like. We can tell it's an old building based off, the spiral staircase, the elevator that they use. They're really setting a really good tone as to where we're going to be for the next hour and a little bit. The other thing I'd say is that I don't know if she brings anything back to life. I think she creates a perception, or she creates an environment where they are misconstruing what reality is. So like you can tell because in the radio they say, we're up for a bunch of sunny days. It's gonna be great outside, and then it gets all stormy. If you missed that the first time and when you're watching this, you're like, wait, it says. So everything outside is fine. It's her own perception that she's distorted, that makes me feel that, which also brings the cat scene kind of interesting because was the cat actually hurt? Did they mercy kill the cat for nothing because maybe it was just their perception that the cat was injured? Because then again, when you see the other part of it, when the body's coming towards them, they think it's the one of the dead bodies that's coming after them, and ends up being the girlfriend, and they end up killing the girlfriend. Again, there's a lot of hints that everything that she's created is all fictional, but she creates such a vivid reality for them that they end up killing each other or killing the people around them, which is how that movie starts in the beginning. They for some reason uncovered this body. Very kind of probably kind of stir of echoes if anybody's seen that movie with Kevin Bacon. It's a great movie. Where they've obviously something was driving them to uncover this body, and then that unleashed the curse upon the people in the beginning and ended up killing everybody. And I love the line where it seems like everybody was trying, there was no break-in, everybody was just trying, it seems like they were trying to get out, and they almost repeat that at the end as well with what happens in the morgue. Anyways, big fan of this movie. Again, to Carson's point, I love that it was all in the morgue. And I'll also give a quick shout out to The Mortuary Assistant, which is a game that came out shortly after this movie came out. Actually, I forget, it came out in 2020, I think. And you basically get to relive this movie as a mortuary assistant.
The one counterpoint to your theory, though, there, Carlos, and maybe I interpreted this wrong, but one of the things that they're doing throughout the autopsy is they're videotaping it. And then at the very end, when the cops come in, I thought that the camera, because at one point they try to light the body on fire. It creates a huge fire in the area. I thought that the camera was still burned. And so I don't know if that was hinting that she had just reversed, like the stuff actually happened, but she reversed it, except for the thing that she didn't want to, which was the camera, or if I just saw it incorrectly and the camera wasn't burned.
Oh. They did linger on the camera having been burned. I remember that distinctly, at least like melted slightly.
I thought it was at least like they showed that, they wouldn't be able to get the footage, is why they were showing that.
I don't think it was like purely bending reality. Like maybe she was bending their perception of what was happening, but it was still having real world effects. So it still affected the camera. Like that was still burned. It reminded me a lot of like, I don't know if you guys have seen 1408.
Yeah.
I thought
great
that
movie.
was like the scariest shit that I'd ever seen at the time. But basically it's like B-Ball, have you seen it?
No, but spoil away. I'm not going to watch
okay.
That
Until
you
next
probably
time.
hate it. It's basically a haunted hotel room. Anyone who goes in there dies within 10 minutes. But it's basically like this horror writer goes in there and he wants to put it to the test. And it's like he thinks he's been in there for 30 minutes. He's being tormented by all these visions and all these ghosts and stuff. And then at the end of the 30 minutes where he's expected to die, it just restarts again. And it's just like playing with his mind forever and ever until he decides to just end it. and himself. So I thought it was like kind of the same type of concept with Autopsy of Jane Doe, at least for me.
I'm going to choose to believe, whether it's the intention of the movie or not, that it's not just in their heads, because I don't like the idea of them throwing a perfectly fine cat in the incinerator. So I'm just going to choose not to believe that.
Well, I think he
Carson at
generally
that
snapped
point
the
he
neck.
snapped the neck.
Yeah.
So that cat was dead when I went into the incinerator.
Did he snap the neck? I thought he just threw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he
Audibly. It was
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it was loud. It went.
Never mind the fact that we just saw another movie where a little boy was shot several times as well. But don't incinerate the cat.
Well, and also the mercy killing of the coyote, right? The invitation.
Oh yeah.
Again, weirdly, did The Howling not have any mercy killing of animals? Did that
Well,
one
werewolves
not have
or
any
rabbit?
Huh?
It's not a mercy killing, but it did kill
Oh
the rabbit.
yeah. But they did kill the rabbit. Okay, so yeah, all 4 movies had either an animal or a small child being murdered.
Oh my god.
You guys were all very dark people, dark, sinister people. Okay, I have some thoughts about this Autopsy of Jane Doe. One, so Emil, what did it like? Emil Hirsch and the guy that's not quite in Dodgeball, like
Brian Cox.
do. Thank you. Like
The guy that's not in Dodgeball at all.
Yeah, but like
The guy from
okay.
Secession.
Add Rip Torn and that other guy from Dodgeball together, and do you not get that man? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so all that they did to the witch was be coroners.
Yeah.
And then that's what they got the revenge on, because they
would
were
argue
doing,
that they were males. Because
it
when
was
you think about,
because they were men and cutting into them.
well, because you think about the Salem witch
Revenge
trials, a
for
lot
the
of it.
witch trials, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it was driven by the
certainly.
church and males. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I also speaking of that, I wonder, because last time we got together, we watched The Conjuring, and then now this. Will America ever get over fully that time that they all freaked out and started offing their young women with strong opinions?
Which time?
I guess the time in the 1700s
Let's be
that we're
specific,
talking
Ben.
about this time. Yeah. The one in the 1700s in this instance is the one we're talking about. I have to. Yeah, I did not anticipate. I didn't see it as them all just being in their minds. And I think it's interesting that the only person that seems to be unharmed is the person that treated the body nicely. Like the Sheriff Burke, he's fine because he didn't mess with her.
I don't think that he got enough alone time, because they started to show that at the end, right?
He brought her in. He was the one that brought her in. So he was riding along, but the thing is, he was responsible for getting her out of the part that she was buried in and taking her nicely to this other location. He didn't do shit to her, so he lives.
Well, she needed him to transport her to more victims.
I think it's a vicinity thing. I think it's a proximity thing rather.
I think
because
it's straight up.
You
fuck with me, you get fucked up.
Because she starts doing it to the guy at the end of the movie. It closes with the radio going crazy again, going back into the gospel song, which means that she's very much gonna haunt that guy, because it's long. He's not driving a short distance, right? Because the guy's like, get this out of my county. He's gonna drive maybe an hour or two to get out there, and we're just gonna give her enough time to, do some shit.
Yeah, well, maybe the guy driving the ambulance is a real POS. And he's drives up the road like a kilometer and then it's like, hey, wait, what do we got going on back here? Honks a boob, and then there's no doubt it's
and then he
time.
gets what's coming to him.
Yeah,
okay.
It would take no time at all to be like, no, you mess with her, you get messed up.
That was one of the things that I made note of, and this one, like this movie in particular, was a little bit different from other scary or horror movies where the victims aren't complete pieces of shit. Like the father and the son, they're decent guys. They're just doing their job. And usually in horror movies, you typically see everyone kind of sucks, and you're okay to see them die.
Kind of wait for them to show themselves to be assholes.
Yeah, but they're not. they're both just really nice guys, a good father and son, and it's kind of makes it even like more sad at the end when they eventually don't make it.
Yeah, like it was the not quite dodgeball guy. Like he right at the end there. Yeah, he just like he's just bargaining, right? Like he's trying his best to save his son by being like, I know what needs to happen now. Like, do it to me. Just do it to me. And, unfortunately, she did not agree to that. Very clear. But like that, it almost seems like they cut out parts of it where like, that guy sexually harasses somebody, maybe like the girlfriend in a really crass way that's like way out of left field. And you're like, whoa, I don't know what that's about. And then the witch murders them.
He did have one scene where they were stuck in the elevator and I think I had the volume on too low. I couldn't quite hear it, but it seemed like he was kind of admitting to like not being a good father or not like paying attention to his wife enough. I couldn't remember the exact wording, but it did. That was a little bit of scene where it was like, okay, he sacrifices himself at the end and you kind of get the, I deserve it type thing.
Right, like it's that he had spent too much time focused on his work, and that through that his wife suffered from neglect, and possibly that's why she's not part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of goes back to it being like a, ladies empowerment thing / dudes be shit thing.
Yeah, more along the lines of it's not like the typical college Chad like littering and like getting let's like mess with some chicks, and,
yeah.
Go mess with some corpses.
Let's go pound, bruise, and beat up kids.
Yeah.
So some interesting facts about the movie. I didn't know this, but apparently the corpse itself is played by a real actress.
I was getting that sense, and that's
I thought it was like a dummy, because especially with how great effects can be these days. But yeah, that was a real person. Apparently her name is Olwen Kelly.
Yeah, I looked that up as well. Do you think it was like? How do you think it was for her answering questions on the press tour? Like, so what was your experience filming this movie? Like, what's your character like? And she's kind of
probably didn't do the press tour.
There's quite a few scenes there where you're seeing just like a portion of her body. Do you think they had like stunt doubles? Also, once they open her up, like you're basically just wearing a vest.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's not all her at that point.
That's real.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your point.
No, go ahead. No.
Oh,
I was done.
I was just gonna say the one part that you reminded me. The one part that kind of really made me kind of sick, and I do know why, but they're like taking out her ribs because they're doing an autopsy, as you do, but they're using like it's like this big, it's like a gardening tool, and I have the same thing at my house to like cut branches off a tree.
Right,
it's not a gardening tool.
No,
it's called a lopper. You can get it at Home Depot. I have the same thing, and they're just literally.
I don't think it's called a lopper when you're applying it in the way they were.
I do the same motion cutting branches off my tree.
That was the one point where I was like, oh, she can feel this, because they really made a point of showing
her
like
face.
The sound and like all that.
Yeah.
Right, the kind of the brutalness of breaking apart ribs.
Yeah. I think I just got flashbacks to people getting stabbied in Possessor, like just watching everything.
If it was Possessor, you would have seen like a zoom in. There would have been like
they would have started like cutting off her limbs, and
you would have seen the blade on bone, and then the bone kind of, it would have been like microscopic, and you see the dust of the bone kind of
Yeah.
That's what-
And then Emil Hirsch just out of nowhere does it like 15 times just because he loves it. And he's like, what? I don't know, man.
Just gets in there with
More,
a steak
even
knife for some reason. And
First, yeah, yes. That's not
Jesus.
medical. That's what his dad says. Where'd you get that steak knife even?
It's a lopper, Dad.
Yeah. And then a little boy comes down the stairs out of nowhere, and then they just decide,
Oh,
Paula.
man.
Okay.
"Hey, don't blame me. I didn't pick that
was
movie."
that was a
Alright.
dark part of that movie.
Jesus.
Ugh.
So yeah, guys, Mortuary Assistant is a highly recommended game. It's a game. It's a video game. You can get it on
Okay.
Steam. I think it's like $10. Where you play you play the role of the father and son. You just play one person. New bodies come in. You have to try to identify what happened to them. You do all the embalming. You do all the cutting of the ribs and stuff. Show all of it. It's all in first person as well.
You played this?
I have. Yeah, I have. How many hours have I played that?
Carlos,
no.
are you okay?
5 hours, 5.1 hours.
Oh, no.
Okay, so the part of it is that you need to try to find which body is the one that's haunting the morgue, and
Oh
so
my god.
yeah, stuff starts to happen in your you'll see bodies start to come up, or you'll see knocking on the door and nobody's there. You have to go walk and
Oh.
open the door, and when you go back, the
no.
body isn't where you left it, kind of thing. And then more occult things start to happen. The longer it takes you to find who is the actual the longer it takes for you to find who the actual body is that's haunting the morgue is. And you got to make sure you burn that body in time before the scary things happen.
The father and son should have just played that game.
Yeah, they would have been a lot better off because they could just turn it off, right?
The only reason I would ever play that game would be for this podcast at 10 in the morning.
It wouldn't help you. I'm telling you right now.
We appreciate
Yeah,
your level of commitment to the podcast, though, Bebo.
Sure, I'll do anything. I don't care. I'm in. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This Jane Doe business. Just so spooky. I'm a big fan of anytime that the radio getting weird is part of it. And also it's interesting the various ways that they established that cell phones weren't happening in all these movies. You always kind of have to do that with scary movies because otherwise you would just solve it with your cell phone, right? So Invitation, we're out in the hills, bad reception. Oh, what can you do? Autopsy of Jane Doe, we're in a basement. There's crazy psychopath storms above us. The Howling, it's 81.
Times are simpler.
Yeah, different times. And then Possessor, who's got time for a fucking cell phone?
You're already dead.
Yeah, you're banging somebody through another person's body right now. You got bigger problems. But they do have cell phones. That was another messed up part about the whole Possessor freaking movie. Okay, just to go back to that thing for a second. All right, the fact that you being weird and not quite the person adds to the backstory of the person becoming erratic, and further so that they ultimately ramped up to becoming a murderer. And it makes logical sense because the person was unstable already. It's so messed up. It's built into the process that the person that you're talking to is going to start feeling weird about you because they should, but they don't understand why. It's a total mind bone. What sickos, absolute sickos.
I couldn't agree more.
So I'm happy
that.
to...
Oh, okay. Wait, one more thing about the Possessor.
go for
Okay,
it,
one more
man.
thing about the Possessor. They do it so slick that you forget that there's just a gang of sexual assault in that movie. You don't even think about it because that gal, along with being an assassin, seems to bone out the person, and that's not who the person's supposed to be, gang. That's some pretty dark stuff for what seems to be the protagonist of that movie. Like that, like I forget who said that she's like an absolute terrible serial killer murderer, but add rapist. I mean, add whatever the word is for that now, but like not cool in like a terrifying
I
way.
think rapist is still accurate.
No, I just don't want these guys to get demonetized. I think there's like an algorithm.
Monetized.
We're not even monetized.
Right. I guess missed. I don't know. They'll cut you out. I don't know.
We're
Thank you.
truth speakers.
Yeah,
we don't rely on that
right.
monetization.
Yeah. We won't censor ourselves. We'll say
woke
words,
left
uncomfortable
won't let us
words.
talk about-
Yeah. I'm not that I'm like the. Oh man, let me say these words. I must to speak my truth.
All right, so are we done doing scary movies now? Is that what y'all have come to a consensus?
No, I will still do it. I'm just saying, like next round, maybe not. Like, what if the challenge was the nicest movie? Like
the nicest movie.
like the nicest. Like it ends so nice, and everybody has a great time, and you still like it. Like there's stakes, sure, but the stakes aren't that somebody's going to be turned into a steak or staked. Or put on a stake. Like, it's like, oh man, maybe the farm is going to get like, sold. Oh, nope, swerve. We put together a show and we saved the farm and, we're all stoked about it. Like Dukes of Hazzard. Okay. Dukes of Hazzard. Nobody dies.
What if I
Dude,
found a
boys are
horror
basically
movie
losing.
where everyone died and they were happy about it?
No, you're missing part of the criteria.
Because I have two in
Two
mind.
parts, really.
Ben
Oh, that
prefers
exists.
Ben prefers his movies to be about cars with Confederate
just-
flags on the roof.
Wow. They address it, okay? And it is a Johnny Knoxville vehicle, I will remind you.
Yeah, they're just giving credit to their history, Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Make an argument
wow.
for it, Ben. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I
was
really
Ben
wish I
talking
hadn't
just now.
chosen. I'm trying to think. Oh, God. Does Starsky and Hutch have a Confederate flag on their car? I don't know. Those are the two movies I'm
Ben just
recommending.
wants like the happiest movies with Confederate flags in them.
Shut up, Carlos. Gosh. Oh, man. I completely forgot that. I forgot that they do that.
It's the general, okay, Carlos?
No. Shut. Oh, man. I'm not defending that. That is not my position. Oh, no. Oh, man.
All right, Carson, you want to close this off here?
I
My
recommend
closing,
other movies.
My closing question for you guys is: did anyone watch a movie as a result of this that they enjoyed more than the one that they recommended to the group?
I really like Possessor. I was a fan of it, but again, it's just because I was a fan of Brandon Cronenberg, so I don't know if I liked it more than The Autopsy of Jane Doe. I did not like The Invitation simply because screw you, Paulo, and your home invasion stuff and things that can actually happen.
I
'Cause
scared
then-
Carlos.
It's not even that I just get concerned about that. I check, I'll be in bed thinking that I locked the door.
What does
you know?
scared mean, Carlos? What does it mean?
It made me feel unsafe in my
Yeah.
own home.
That's the real.
I guess so. And the Howling was just fun. I enjoyed a good 80s movie, but I don't know. I'm still a big fan of Autopsy of Jane Doe, and I would love to hear Carson's other suggestion that he would have otherwise. I hated Lighthouse. If you're going to say Lighthouse, I wouldn't even consider that a horror movie.
I love The Lighthouse, but it's
I
not
know
a
you
horror
did.
movie, so I wouldn't recommend. For
It's
this.
on people's horrors list. I don't know why.
There is, however, a horror movie coming out from the same director this year called Nosferatu, where
I'm
I've heard the
very
description
curious.
of the movie is they wanted to create a vampire that would turn you on and simultaneously make you ashamed of it. So I'm curious to know from the director of The Lighthouse and The Witch what that means.
A vampire that would turn you
Whoa.
on and simultaneously bore you.
And it's for sure Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the cast is, but come on.
It's
right?
the guy who did
Willem
Pennywise
Dafoe.
from it.
Oh, the Skarsgård. guy.
Skarsgård guy, yeah.
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 I mean, they're good-looking guys.
Okay, so to answer your question, Carson, it's going to sound crazy, but I liked The Invitation. I would put that above The Howling. I think it, because of the kind of cerebral, slow burn, like paranoia, and it could happen-ness of it, it's pretty spooky. And yeah, just something about like really unhinged, desperate people like starting to attack one another in a locked house. Again, very, very scary. Like we're, Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation away from that in a way that, undead, immortal witches and low jacking into brains and werewolves are, not really in the wheelhouse in the way that like Murder Cult could just be around the corner for any of us. Like, hey, you want to come over? We're gonna play Mario Kart. It's gonna be great. And like, that's all you need to sell me. And then I'm at your house, and you're like, by the way, check out this video. And you're like, whoa. But in a way, I like that because like, talk about achieving your goals. You want to creep me out? Chicken's done. You did it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd say
so
for
I-
myself, like I think I still like The Possessor the most out of all 4 of these movies, but I liked these again. I saw the title for Carlos's movie and I was like, okay, that's gonna be something I'm gonna hate. Ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would. Same with The Howling. Seemed like it was old cheesy movie, and I enjoyed it, especially considering all the other weird shit we watched with this one. And The Invitation I had seen before and I liked it, and I watched it a second time and I still liked it. So.
You had seen The Invitation before for no other reason than because I recommended it. No one else. We never talked about it before.
Get 'em.
And I'm not saying this to just not as a fuck you to Carson. Possessor was probably my least favorite of all of these movies. Autopsy of Jane Doe, I had seen it before. I enjoyed it as much as I can enjoy something that scares me, and The Howling was probably the second to The Invitation for me. Like it was just fun. But yeah, main takeaway is it just Possessor bad.
Well, I don't know which one won then, but I guess we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Thanks again for guys for joining, and I feel like our next one we're either going to watch the happiest movies we've ever seen, or we're going to just go
We're
deeper
doubling
and
down.
darker down this horror hole. And I guess you'll have to tune in next time to see which hole we go down. Bye.
Bye.